that in a real-world spy scenario, Carmen Sandiego would likely outmaneuver, outsmart, and ultimately defeat the legendary James Bond.
The legendary James Bond.
Yeah.
I think what's really striking is how these two iconic figures represent completely different eras and approaches to espionage. Bond, for all his charm and gadgets, is a product of a bygone era, a time when brute force and charisma were often enough to win the day.
Yeah, it's almost like he's stuck in a time warp.
Yeah.
The sources we're looking at today paint him as this incredibly skilled, but ultimately predictable agent. He relies on those flashy gadgets from Q Branch, his impeccable combat skills, and of course, that irresistible charm.
Of course, yes. The charm, but the world has changed. And Carmen Sandiego embodies a kind of espionage that's far more relevant in today's complex and interconnected landscape.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
All right.
Lay it on me. Why is Carmen the spy for the modern age?
Well, think about it. She's a master of disguise, a strategic mastermind who can disappear into thin air. Bond leaves a trail of, Bondness wherever he goes. Explosions, martinis, broken hearts. Carmen is a ghost. A whisper in the wind.
And the sources really emphasize her psychological prowess. She uses empathy and almost Sherlockian understanding of human behavior to manipulate situations to her advantage. She doesn't just outsmart her opponents. She outsmarts the system itself.
The system itself. Exactly. She's playing 4D chess while everyone else is still trying to figure out checkers.
Whoa.
And that's a crucial difference. Bond reacts. Carmen anticipates. She's always 2 steps ahead. Exploiting the weaknesses and blind spots of her opponents and the systems they represent.
So in a world that's becoming increasingly chaotic.
Absolutely.
And unpredictable. Is that adaptability what gives her the edge?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Think about the sheer amount of data we're bombarded with every day.
Right.
The constant stream of information,
Yeah.
misinformation, and everything in between.
It's like drinking from a fire hose.
Precisely.
Right.
And in that kind of environment,
Yeah.
it's not about having the most powerful weapon or the fastest car.
Right.
It's about being able to filter the noise
Right.
to connect the dots
Well.
and to make decisions with incomplete information.
So Carmen's ability to thrive in chaos.
Yeah.
That's what makes her a more formidable opponent in the 21st century.
It's a huge factor.
Okay.
But let's not forget her motivations.
Right.
Unlike Bond,
Okay.
who ultimately operates within the system,
Right.
Carmen is a disruptor. She has a personal vendetta against Valai,
Yeah.
the Villains International League of Evil.
Oh, right.
And her actions are often driven by a deeper sense of justice.
She's like a Robin Hood figure, stealing from the corrupt and exposing their secrets to the world.
Exactly.
It's almost like she's using her skills to right the wrongs that traditional law enforcement can't or won't touch.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point.
Right.
Because it raises questions about the nature of good and evil, right?
Wow, yeah.
Who gets to decide who's a hero and who's a villain?
Whoa.
Is it about following the rules?
Yeah.
Or is it about fighting for what you believe in,
Right.
even if it means bending those rules?
Whoa, okay, things just got deep.
Things just got deep.
So we've got this brilliant, morally ambiguous mastermind
Right.
who can outthink and outmaneuver anyone.
Yeah.
How does Bond even stand a chance?
Well, to really understand this clash of styles,
Okay.
let's imagine a hypothetical scenario. Okay.
Let's say there's a priceless artifact hidden in a high-security vault somewhere in London.
Okay.
Carmen's goal is to steal it.
Right.
Perhaps to expose some corrupt organization or to redistribute the wealth to those in need.
Okay.
Bond, of course, is tasked with stopping her.
Okay. I'm picturing it. The fog rolling in over the Thames, the clock ticking down,
Yes.
Carmen's red coat, a flash of color in the dimly lit streets. This is going to be good.
Round 1, the Battle of Wits.
Yeah.
Carmen, true to form,
Yeah.
vanishes into the city's underbelly.
Okay.
She knows London like the back of her hand.
All right.
The secret passages, the forgotten tunnels, the places where even MI6's surveillance cameras can't reach.
Bond's probably fuming in his Aston Martin,
all right,
trying to track her down with all those fancy gadgets.
And that's precisely where he starts to lose the game.
Uh-oh.
Carmen anticipates his reliance on technology.
Okay.
She's already taken steps to erase her digital footprint.
Right.
To scramble his signals.
Wow.
To make herself invisible to his high-tech eyes.
Okay.
Bond's left chasing ghosts.
Wow.
While Carmen's already 10 steps ahead.
So even before any action goes down.
Exactly.
She's already manipulating the playing field to her advantage.
Exactly. She understands that in the world of espionage, perception is just as important as reality. She's using Bond's own assumptions against him, leading him down a carefully constructed path of misdirection.
Okay, so Bond is already on the back foot.
Yes.
Can he catch up to Carmen's cunning in the next stage?
Let's find out.
Okay.
Round 2.
Okay.
The chase is on.
Right.
Bond finally gets a lead.
Okay.
A flicker of Carmen's presence on one of his surveillance feeds.
Right.
But it's a trap.
Uh-oh.
A calculated diversion designed to lead him away from her real objective.
And I bet Carmen knows how Bond thinks.
Yes.
Knows he can't resist a good chase.
Exactly.
She's probably using his adrenaline and his need for speed against him.
Precisely.
While Bond is tearing through the streets of London in his Aston Martin, every gadget whirring and flashing, Carmen is slipping through the cracks, using her knowledge of the city's hidden arteries to stay one step ahead.
I'm imagining her blending into the crowds.
Yeah.
Disappearing down alleyways.
Right.
Maybe even hopping on one of those iconic red double-decker buses.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a brilliant contrast.
Yes.
Bond's all about brute force and speed.
Yes.
While Carmen's relying on agility and stealth.
And this is where her understanding of human nature really shines.
Okay.
She knows how people move, how they react, how they can be manipulated.
Right.
She's a master of social engineering.
Oh.
Using charm, distraction, and misdirection to turn the city itself into her weapon.
It's like she's weaponizing the mundane.
Exactly.
Turning everyday life into an obstacle course for Bond.
Exactly. She's a master of blending in. Yeah. Of using the very things that Bond would consider beneath his notice to her advantage.
Right. While he's focused on the big picture, she's paying attention to the smallest details.
Right.
The seemingly insignificant clues that reveal her opponent's weaknesses.
So Bond might have the gadgets and the firepower, but Carmen has something far more powerful, a deep understanding of the human psyche.
It's a classic case of brains over brawn.
Right.
Bond's relying on the tools of his trade, while Carmen's weapon is her intellect.
Right.
Her ability to understand and exploit the patterns of human behavior.
All right, so Carmen successfully evaded Bond.
Yes.
Led him on a wild goose chase through London. Now what?
Now what?
Does she just waltz into the vault and grab the artifact?
Not quite.
Okay.
Remember, Carmen's a master planner.
Okay.
She anticipates Bond's every move.
Right.
Even his eventual arrival at the vault.
Okay.
She's already there, waiting for him.
All right.
And she's prepared a little surprise.
Oh, I love surprises. Was she got up her sleeve? Let's just say she's turned the vault itself into a trap.
Okay.
A carefully orchestrated web of illusions designed to exploit Bond's weaknesses. She knows he's expecting a straightforward confrontation.
Right.
A classic good versus evil showdown.
Okay.
And she's going to give him exactly what he expects.
Oh.
But with a twist.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yes.
She's not just outsmarting him physically.
Yeah.
She's getting inside his head, playing with his expectations.
Exactly. She's using his own ego against him.
Oh, wow.
Luring him into a false sense of security.
Okay.
Think about those classic Bond scenes. He walks into a room, disarms the laser grid, cracks the safe with a witty one-liner.
Yeah.
He's expecting that, and Carmen knows it.
So she set up a scenario that plays into his Bond-ness.
Exactly.
But with a few deadly surprises thrown in.
Precisely. Round 3, the heist Bond, confident and cocky, strolls into the vault.
Yeah.
Expecting a routine takedown.
Okay.
But what he finds is a carefully constructed illusion.
Uh-oh.
Fake sensors.
Right.
Dummy alarms.
Yeah.
a laser grid that seems to deactivate on its own.
Oh, wow.
He thinks he's outsmarted the security system.
Right.
But in reality, he's walking right into Carmen's trap.
She's basically using his own playbook against him.
Exactly.
He's so focused on the physical challenge, the technological puzzle, that he doesn't see the bigger picture.
Right.
The psychological game she's playing.
And while he's busy congratulating himself on his brilliance, Carmen is already long gone, the artifact in hand.
Wow, she really played him like a fiddle.
It's a classic case of underestimating your opponent. Bond, for all his skills and gadgets, fell prey to the one thing he never anticipated, a mind as sharp and cunning as Carmen Sandiego's.
It's like she said, it's all in the game.
It's all in the game.
But in this game, she's playing chess, and Bond's still stuck on checkers.
And that, I think, is the most important takeaway here. In a world that's constantly changing, the rules are constantly being rewritten. Adaptability and strategic thinking are the most valuable assets. Carmen's victory isn't just about being clever. It's about being able to see the world differently, to anticipate the unexpected, and to use every tool at your disposal, even the ones your opponent might overlook.
So what does Carmen's win really tell us?
I think it highlights the importance of questioning assumptions, of thinking outside the box, and of never underestimating the power of a well-executed plan. It's a reminder that sometimes the most effective solutions aren't the most obvious ones. And that true strength lies not in brute force, but in the ability to adapt, to innovate, and to outmaneuver your opponent at every turn.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack, but I think I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Good. Now, remember how we talked about the importance of teams earlier? Well, this is where things get even more interesting.
Hold on. Are you telling me there's another layer to this?
Yes.
Because I thought Carmen had already won.
Oh, she has. But let's not forget that both Carmen and Bond have teams backing them up. Bond has the resources of MI6 at his disposal, the gadgets, the intel, the global network of agents. Carmen, on the other hand, relies on a more decentralized network of allies, each with their own unique skills and connections.
It's like comparing a massive corporation to a nimble startup.
Exactly.
Bond's got the infrastructure. But Carmen's got the agility.
And in today's world, that agility can be a game changer. Think about it. Bond's reliance on MI6 makes him predictable. His every move is likely monitored, logged, analyzed.
It's like he's got a giant target on his back.
Whereas Carmen's network is more fluid, more adaptable. She can call on favors, disappear into the shadows, exploit opportunities that MI6 would never even see coming.
It's like trying to catch smoke.
Yes.
You can see it, but you can never quite grasp it.
And that brings us back to a fundamental question. What does it mean to be a successful spy in the modern age? Is it about brute force and state-of-the-art gadgets? Or is it about something more subtle, more adaptable, more aligned with the complexities of a world that's constantly in flux?
Okay, I'm seeing the light here.
Good.
Carmen's win isn't just a victory for her. It's a testament to a new kind of espionage. One that embraces adaptability, cunning, and a deep understanding of human nature.
Exactly. And that's a powerful message, especially in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information, where the lines between truth and fiction are increasingly blurred.
So Carmen Sandiego, she's not just a thief. She's a symbol of a new era. A reminder that sometimes the most effective strategies are the ones that challenge our assumptions and force us to think differently.
Exactly.
It almost feels like Carmen's operating on a different plane of existence. Like she's playing a game that Bond doesn't even know the rules to.
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? Bond, with all his gadgets and resources, is ultimately confined by the very system that empowers him. Carmen, on the other hand, operates outside the lines, exploiting the cracks in the system to her advantage.
And that brings us back to that provocative thought you mentioned earlier, the role of teams in all of this. Would Bond's connection to MI6 actually hinder him in a real-world showdown with Carmen?
It's definitely a double-edged sword.
Okay.
On one hand, MI6 provides Bond with access to cutting-edge technology, a global network of informants, and the backing of a powerful government agency.
That's a lot of firepower.
But it also makes him a known entity. His movements are tracked. His communications are monitored. His every decision is subject to scrutiny and oversight.
It's like he's got a giant target on his back.
Whereas Carmen's network is more like a spider web. Decentralized and adaptable. She has allies in every corner of the world. Each with their own unique skills and connections.
I imagine it's like a secret society of thieves, hackers, and masterminds all working together to outsmart the establishment.
And because they operate outside the traditional power structures, they're much harder to track, to predict, to control.
It's almost like comparing a symphony orchestra to a jazz ensemble. Bond's got the sheet music, the conductor, the grand spectacle. But Carmen's got the improvisation, the spontaneity, the ability to adapt to the moment.
And in a world that's increasingly unpredictable and chaotic, that ability to improvise, to think on your feet, can be the difference between success and failure.
So even with all of MI6's resources, Bond might find himself outmaneuvered, outmatched by Carmen's network.
It's definitely a possibility. Because in the end, espionage isn't just about gadgets and firepower. It's about information. Who has it? Who controls it? And who can use it most effectively?
And in that regard, Carmen's decentralized network gives her a significant advantage. She's got eyes and ears everywhere, a constant flow of information from sources that MI6 might not even be aware of.
It's like she's tapping into a collective intelligence.
Oh, wow.
A hive mind that can anticipate threats. Identify opportunities. And exploit weaknesses that Bond might miss.
This has been an eye-opening deep dive, to say the least. We started with a simple question. Who would win in a fight between Carmen Sandiego and James Bond? But we've ended up exploring some pretty profound ideas about the nature of power, the evolution of espionage, and the importance of adaptability in a rapidly changing world.
And I think the most important takeaway here is that sometimes the underdog, the outsider, the one who doesn't play by the rules, can be the most dangerous opponent of all.
Carmen Sandiego. She's not just a thief. She's a disruptor, a symbol of a new era where the old rules no longer apply.
Exactly.
She's a reminder that in a world of constant change, the only constant is change itself. And those who can adapt, those who can think differently, those who can challenge the status quo, they're the ones who will ultimately prevail.